Good morning. Pastor Aaron here. Hey, have you ever been betrayed? Maybe somebody said something awful about you, hurtful to you. Maybe you've been falsely accused. Have you ever been left out, isolated, unsupported? Somebody just made you mad and angry. Have you ever lost a friend because of a fight or a disagreement? Maybe you're not talking to your spouse right now. Maybe you're not talking to your kids right now. Or maybe your kids aren't talking to you right now. I don't know. Sometimes issues, the arguments, or the unresolved tension, or the unresolved bitterness, it all just settles in. And you know, the human experience, it's filled with hurt. Some of those are minor scratches. Some of those are really deep wounds. How does the healing ever begin? Well, welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday. Healing hurts. You know, that can be a play on words, really. And so are we talking about, are we healing the hurts, or is the healing hurting? Well, I think sometimes it's both things, actually. You know, the process of healing takes time, it takes intention, and it takes effort. I didn't say attention, it takes intention. You have to intentionally want to heal the hurt that is between you and somebody else. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your parents, maybe it's a best friend that you don't have anymore, maybe it's somebody else. Today I want to share 5 steps toward a healing process. Mind you, hurt and relationships can be very messy. Now these 5 steps, they aren't foolproof and they're not magic. It's going to take work. It really will. But if it's a relationship worth saving, it's a relationship worth working on. And you'll cherish it and it'll be worth it. If God has led you to heal the hurt, then these 5 steps are really going to help you today. So let's start going over those, okay? I'm going to give you 5 steps. Again, not foolproof, not magic, but I do believe this will help you get started in the healing process. I don't know about the background noise, Janet. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can fix that here in a little bit. All right, here's the first thing. The first thing that we're going to do is a sense of alone. Healing the hurt starts alone. Believe it or not, healing the hurts doesn't start on social media. Healing the hurt doesn't start in your gossip story. Healing the hurt does not start with arguments. Healing the hurt that you have felt between you and another individual, it starts in some alone time. And not that we can ever be alone from God. That's not the point. But physically, it takes some alone time. You've got to get by yourself where you can sit and think about some things. And you need to list all the ways. Oh, no, wait, I know what you're going to say. No, you don't. You need to list all the ways that you have hurt the other person. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm the one that's hurt. Shouldn't I list all the ways that they've hurt me? No. You need to list the ways that you've hurt them. But wait a minute, well, I don't understand that. The ways of God are very often opposite of what everybody else is going to tell you. God does it in his own way and does it in his own time. And he calls us to do those things. So first, you've got to get alone. You have to list the ways that you have participated in the hurting process. Now, I am going to say, if there's 2 people, let's say it's a husband and wife, and you really want to work on it, then each of you needs to get alone and needs to figure it out. Each of you needs to come together and help the other one figure it out, and realize that it's going to take both of you getting the message. So each of you needs to get alone. You, your spouse, maybe your child and you, or you and your parent, or you and your best friend, whatever. Hang on, let me check and see what I can do with this. All right, guys, is that better? Check 1 2. Is that better, guys? Let me know if you can hear it any better now. Not seeing anything come in. Try to adjust a couple of settings there, so we'll see if you can hear that better than you were. That's so odd. You can't hear it. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is to get alone and to list the ways that you have hurt the other person. The second thing we need to do is confess. Now, I know you're probably thinking, when am I going to get, my hurt fixed? When am I going to get my things taken care of? How am I going to get my stuff handled? And that's coming. But there's some alone time that we have to figure out. There's some alone time that we've got to develop. We have to come up with. So after you get alone and you list the things that, the ways that you have hurt the other person, well then you need to confess to God the things that you have done. 1 John 1:9 says that God is ready and able and just to remove all the unrighteousness, to forgive your sin, and to restore that sense of righteousness. Before you and the other person can be healing through this hurt, each of you are going to have to get alone and list the ways you've hurt, and then you need to confess. You need to get right vertically. You have to get right vertically before you can ever have a hope of really healing the horizontal situation, the horizontal relationship that you have. So you need to spend time confessing before God and getting right before Him in the ways that you have participated. Now, very important part here. If the other person, that Mike, I don't understand that. I don't know how to fix that today. I've set it up the same way we usually do. So some kind of static or interference is happening. I'll try to list these things in the notes in the areas that you couldn't help. Sorry about that, because I'm not really sure what to do with that right now. I'm not sure why it's even doing that. Could be the internet connection. We're trying to get internet a little faster with some new access points, and we just haven't got that installed yet. So maybe it might be an internet problem or something. So once we confess to God and we receive His forgiveness, now what I was saying was, two people in this relationship, if only one person is working on it, thanks, Mike, I appreciate it. If only one person's working on it, it's not going to heal. Both parties have to be willing to do this. So, if there's been a breach of relationship, if there's been a breaking of a relationship, both people have to be willing to want to heal the relationship. One can't heal it for both. Both have to be ready and willing to heal the relationship, because each person has to get alone. Each person must get right before God with their own part that they played in the breakdown of this process. Then you get to number 3, where together you confess to each other. Now, again, our tendency would be that when we come together, I'm going to tell you how you hurt me, and I want you to apologize to me. And if you really want deeper healing, then we have to go about it a different way. When you come together, I have my list of how I've hurt you, and I want to begin to share how I feel I have hurt you, and then I want to ask for your forgiveness in the ways that I have hurt you. And then the other person is going to share their list and ask you to forgive them. So, Susan, I know that I spoke harshly to you. I said some things to you, and I'm making this stuff up as I go, but I said some things, or I spread some things, or what I know that I have hurt you in these specific ways. I'm sorry for what my part played in the breakdown of our relationship. Would you forgive me and allow us to have a relationship again? Now that takes a lot of pro-pie and humility. It takes a lot of that. Because our tendency is going to be either to stay broken in that relationship because our pride won't let us say we didn't do that. Or we want to come and accuse you of what you've done wrong in this relationship. But I believe James 5:16 says to confess your sins to each other. And that means I'm not coming to confess your sin. I'm coming to confess my sin. And I need to come and say, I played this part in that. Most of us don't want to do that, which is why we stay broken in our relationship. This is why divorces happen. This is why kids and parents don't talk for years. This is why you have a breakup. We can say, oh, well, but it's this and this, and it's their fault and their fault. Okay, I'm not saying people don't do things to us that hurt us. That's true. But here's the deal. If they're not willing to admit it any more than you're willing to admit it, you have to live with the fact that it'll never be healed. But if you both want to heal in this relationship, this is the pathway you've got to go. So together you come and say, I've hurt you in these ways. I apologize, and be sincere about that. Because they'll know if you mean it. Would you forgive me and allow us to have this relationship again? Then you need to learn how to count. Or you need to exchange. You need to exchange the list. And this is a symbolic thing. It's not required, but it's a symbolic thing. Sometimes we need some physical things that help us with our emotional processing. So what you're going to do is, I have my list of things I have done in this relationship. You've heard it. I have now asked for your forgiveness, and then the other person has done the same thing. Okay? And then I'm going to take my list, and we're going to trade lists. Okay? So now I have the list of how you have hurt me. Now, wait. Don't do what 90% of us are going to do. You know what that is? You know what we're going to do? We're going to look at that list, and this is what we do, and this is why relationships don't ever get fixed. We're going to look at that and go, hey, what if you didn't mention it? Here's one. This was so obvious. Why did you not mention this one? I see no mention of this. We're not perfect at this. And frankly, some of us may not even know how we hurt you. But this is an attempt to start the healing process. And so I need to take that list, and I'm not supposed to read over the list to find what they missed on the list. Okay? You take that list, you need to tear it up. Tear it up into small pieces. Okay? And then you all both need to throw it in a can and burn it, or throw it in the fireplace and burn it, or throw it on the burn pile and burn whatever. Burn it. And this is a symbolic moment of releasing that. You have said, I forgive you. Now we need to physically get rid of all of these things in a symbolic exchange for the physical to symbolize the emotional of what you have done. And then you need to establish new habits. Go do something fun together. Go do something that is going to build that relationship. Go have dinner, have a conversation. Get one of those boxes of cards that are conversation starters. You can download them off the internet. You can buy them at the different stores. And just, if you haven't had a chance to talk, you don't know how to converse anymore, go get one of those and just lay a card out and go, this is the question we're going to talk about. And just see where the conversation goes. But establish a habit that fills your emotional bucket with positive things. Because here's the deal. Jesus told a parable about a man that had a demon. And he cleansed himself, and he talked about the house, okay? And he got the demon out of the house. But then he just left the house empty. You know what the demon did, Jesus says? He went and got 6 of his friends, or 7 of his friends, and they came back, and he was 7 times worse off after. Why? Because he may have rid himself of this negative, but he didn't put positive back in the house. You can get rid of, you can forgive, and you can set it aside. But if you don't establish positive things back into that relationship, then those negative things that you said you forgave and you said you burned up, they're going to find their way back in, and it will be worse for you in the end than it was to start with if you don't go establish a new habit, new emotion. Do something that fills the other person's emotional bucket, both of you doing this together, so that you can be back to a moment of health and happiness together in your relationship. This is how you heal the hurt. Thank you for coming and joining me on this Whiteboard Wednesday. Sorry for any of the audio problems that we may have had today. We'll see how to fix that in the future. Tomorrow is Dads with Coffee, and then we'll see you this week. You guys have a great day.